Okay. We are going to call the meeting to order. Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, good evening. Deanne, will you please come up and give us the good news report this evening?
Absolutely. We have lots of good news once again to share with you. As you know, we kicked off our school year last Thursday, and most people, I have to say, were very excited about going back, right? All the kids out there, maybe not all the kids, right? But we received a video that I thought pretty well sums it up how we're feeling about being back to school. Oh, goodness. Sound would be good. Oh, no. That was the best part. Let me see if I can get it to go again.
Back to school.
Anything? Oh, you can hear it very vaguely. Oh, it's so good, you guys. Okay, all right, here we're gonna play it again.
We're back, baby, back to school. Back, baby, back to school.
Scene.
Yeah, right there. Wasn't that worth it, right? Back, baby, back to school. Two students over at Eugene Field Elementary were so excited to come back to school. And we received that on Friday and thought, oh my gosh, there's just nothing better than that. They've got dance moves and the voice to go with it. So, you know, they're learning great things at Eugene Field, which is our Arts Plus education school. So they're definitely demonstrating their abilities and what they've picked up over at Eugene Field. So how exciting, how fun that they are super excited to be back. And of course, we are super excited to have all of our students back with us. As you know, this time of year is a little bit chaotic with knowing how many students are going to show up on the first day. We do our best to get people to enroll ahead of time, but we always know there are circumstances where people are just coming into Sioux Falls and send their kids on the first day, and we will gladly accept every one of those students as they show up at our doors. So our social media team has been doing some work just out and about, trying to showcase the excitement for the first days of school. And as you may know, we have web content creators in every building, and they've been doing a bang-up job also showcasing all the fun that they're going to be having in the school year by staff creating videos, very creative stuff. So this video is a compilation of some of the back to school photos that we took on the first day. Come on. Am I going to have to add? Audio seems to be the issue here. But it's just music, so even if it has to be silent, it's good silence. So
You can sing.
sing? No, I don't have that ability. There again, you can hear it very quietly. So lots of hugs, lots of excitement. I don't know if you caught the photo of Dr. Nold being embraced fully by a young man over at Lowell Elementary. And there's a little story behind that. You want to share, Dr. Nold?
I do have to share the story on that. So there's the young boy was walking up, and he's a preschool student, and his mother was walking behind him, and I could see her filling with tears. So sending off for preschool for the first time, and the boy's sitting right in front of me, and I kneeled down and I just said, "Hey, give your mom a hug." And so he gave me a big hug. I go, "No, your mom." So,
Student was listening. It must have
Give
been
her a
told
hug.
by his mother to listen to the adults that speak with him. So he went over and gave Dr. Nold a hug, and yeah, we'll take that, right? So I don't even know in the chaos of it all if he got his mom a hug or if he didn't after that. But regardless, just a lot of fun, a lot of excitement on those first days of school. Of course, we've had good news to celebrate, and our team watches very closely the analytics that pop up on our social media posts. And Marcella LeBeau's ribbon cutting has done better than any social media post we've ever made, to my knowledge. 105,000 views, and that's the number of times that the video has played, and then 54,000 is the number of unique visitors who saw this post, and then interactions means people that liked, commented, that type of thing. And so we're just, obviously it was a great celebration in the fact that it was ribbon cutting for a new school, and the fact that we're celebrating a leader of South Dakota in this way, and her family was with us, and that made it that much more special. But super excited to see how well that social media post has been doing. Interestingly enough, Dr. Nold has quite a following in his social media world as well, because most of the posts we've been doing with him have been getting good engagement as well. So it all started back early in July when he took the reins and grabbed a serving spoon over at Child Nutrition, and then we just we got some photos there, and he's been happy to do whatever we tell him to do. most of the time. But that first day of school photos, you can see that performance on our social media also did very well, where we have 86,000 views, reach of nearly the same number of unique visitors, 53,000. So we're always watching things like this and trying to find out what our community wants to see and how they engage with our information. Let me see. No? Boy, I'm just striking out here. There you go. Again, on this slide, this is from the last month, July 28th through August 24th. What I'm most excited about on this slide is to see all the increase in views, engagement, that kind of thing. But from the non-followers, from people that don't normally follow our information, interactions, we've had a 204% increase from our non-followers. 3,741 people who aren't friends of the Sioux Falls School District have been engaged and are following this. So we think that's pretty great. We'll continue to provide engaging content and let our community know what's happening in our schools. There are so many things to celebrate that we can't possibly catch everything, but our web content creators are in the building, and they are able to capture the essence, the culture of what's happening in their building, the excitement on a daily basis. And so we're really blessed to have that team of broader web content creators who can help us showcase the excellent things happening in our school district. So just very excited to see all of that. I do have a second good news report, unless you have comments or questions about this. Otherwise, I'll move on to the second part.
Keep the good news coming, Deanne.
Absolutely. It happens every single day in our schools, and we're just doing a good job of encouraging people to share those stories with us. And we have a lot of things up our sleeves that we're going to be, a lot of stories we're going to be telling in the future as well. So look forward to doing that. Okay, and for the second part of the good news report, we have a special guest. Where did he go? Richie, come on up here. Richie Hutchinson was recently named as South Dakota Association of Secondary School Principals as the 2026 State Middle School Assistant Principal of the Year. So let's congratulate him. The honor recognizes Richie's exceptional leadership, commitment to student achievement, and lasting impact on the school community. So this is a statewide celebration, but the organization allowed us to share the news locally first, and then they'll be putting out some statewide information. And I asked Richie when he came, what does this mean? What do you have to do? He's like, I don't even know. So we'll all figure that out together. But I just asked Richie to say a few words about, his role in the school district and his role as an assistant principal.
Thank you for acknowledging it tonight. And I would say, I just have to be honest that this award is probably more about our school at George McGovern Middle School. And we've had teachers showing up for over a decade, just committed to helping students rise and get better. And so I'm probably more a product of a group effort. And so I hope you know there's a lot of good work going on out there, and our teachers are really committed to helping students who come from poverty. And we've just seen great things over the last decade, and I hope we continue to see those things.
I will say that we went out and announced it out at George McGovern, and there was a great ovation from the group there and great appreciation for the work that Mr. Hutchinson does at the school there. So I agree, it's a product of the people that work there, but a big part of that is the leadership team there as well and the work that they do. So it was great to see and very deserving.
Anybody else?
Short and sweet, well-deserved, Mr. Hutchinson.
Thank you.
Yeah. Well, I really had the honor and privilege to get to see you once a week here. What was it, 2 years ago, as a volunteer out at George McGovern. And what I noticed in you right away is that you embody the be the difference with your leadership style. Maybe could you share with us one thing that you just have found that works with the teachers and the students out there in embracing the be the difference?
Yeah, I think I'll actually share two things that I think are effective. One is we've done a lot of work around top facilitation methods, which is a specific way of engaging teachers or any group in a communication style that helps figure out what the group wants. So I think one of the best things we've done is to actively engage their voices so that we're representing the talent that's sitting at the school and we're going in a direction based on the people in the trenches. I think the other thing is I'm a West River boy, and I say my leadership style is a little bit more of a Braveheart style. So just me being out in the trenches, being in the classroom, being in the hallways, and having my finger and pulse on what's happening so that I can be responsive and helpful to the teachers. Research says they're the ones that make a difference. They're the reason students grow. So anything we can do to help and empower them.
Excellent. Thanks again. Congratulations. Okay. Gosh. Okay. Can I please get a motion to approve the minutes of the meeting held on 8/11/2025? So moved. Second. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Same sign. Minutes are approved. Persons wishing to address the school board on non-agenda items. This evening we have 3. Let's see, we will start out with Grant, and I'm not clear if Grant and Dave, if you both want to come up together or each individually. Does it matter who goes first? You would like to go first. Okay, Grant. and it looks like your topic is guardian caps in school. I just want to remind you of a few things. When you come up here, please say your name and your address. You're not to give oral complaints regarding district personnel or personnel actions. Those would be directed directly to the superintendent, and the speaker may not offer personal attacks against any individual. Speaker may not give oral complaints identifying individual students. Complaints regarding individual students are to be addressed with the superintendent in private or in writing with the superintendent and board members in accordance with policy KE. The board president, at his or her discretion, may request that the administration or other board members to respond to a person addressing the board immediately following the input, or may direct the administration to respond in writing. Okay, so come on forward, and you have, I believe, 5, and together they have 15.
10.
Just 10, even though it's not on this topic. Okay, thank you. You have 5 minutes. State your name and your address.
Hello, my name is Grant Hone. I live at 1201 East Plum Creek Road. I am an 8th grader at Edison Middle School and a member as the football team as a center. As I was on the line, my parents were concerned about concussions during football. One of my friend's brothers has had to quit playing football due to the amount of concussions he has had at school. This is a Guardian helmet. It connects to the helmet with Velcro straps and can be removed from the helmet without any damage or any altercation to the helmet. Before this season, my parents bought me a Guardian cap to protect me during practices. Before practice, I confirmed with my coach to make sure that I was able to wear it, but then later I was told I could not because it may affect the warranty of the helmets. I was told anything put on a helmet besides for mouth guards and visors may affect the warranty of the helmet, which I thought was strange due to the fact that during our practices, we would wear pennies which connect to our helmets with elastic. From the research I've done with my parents, there are no studies that negatively affect players that are wearing Guardian caps. All I'm asking is the ability to wear a Guardian cap during practice so I can be safer during I am playing the sport I love. If you would like, I would pass around my helmet so you guys can see it.
Sure. That's fine.
Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you, Grant. Okay. Dave? And when you come up, please state your name and your address.
Good evening. My name is Dave Hone. I live at 1201 East Plum Creek Road. I do have some documents that I'll be referring to during my brief talk. Would it be okay to pass that out to the board so you can reference them while I talk?
Yes, that's fine.
First, I want to acknowledge how proud I am of my son, who does not like speaking publicly but cares so much about this issue that he came in front of a room of strangers and talked. Members of the board, I think we can all agree that safety of our kids and students is a priority for all of us. I'd like to talk to you about the options as a parent to better protect my son when he plays football. My son joined Edison football team last year. We purchased a Guardian cap for him to wear during practice. We tried to work within the system and ask coaches if it was okay, but were ultimately told by the athletic director that Guardian caps would not be approved because they may invalidate a helmet's warranty. So let's look at the claim that the use of a Guardian cap may invalidate a warranty for a helmet. According to Guardian, the creator of the helmet, the Guardian cap, there has never been a single incident in the United States where a helmet manufacturer has invalidated a warranty because of the use of a Guardian cap. The athletic director stated that the reason that we couldn't use Guardian cap is any add-on equipment would invalidate the warranty. As my son pointed out, Edison football team uses pennies. It's an elastic aftermarket product that puts on the helmet. So why is that product okay, but a Guardian cap is not? The National High School Referee Association, which is one of the documents I gave you, say the Guardian cap is not a violation of any national rules. More importantly, as one of the documents I gave you shows, in January 2025, Shook Helmets, which is a helmet my son wore last year and was just at football practice today and was given another Shook helmet, entered into a partnership with Guardian Caps. According to their website, Guardian Caps do not violate a helmet's warranty, and they recommend the use of a Guardian cap. So the product that the school district is giving my son says the Guardian cap is not against their warranty, and they actually have entered into a partnership with Guardian because they feel it is such a good product. As a board, I'm asking you to use common sense when it comes to the safety of our children. There are no studies that show the use of Guardian caps are detrimental to students or the practice. As a former football coach and former offensive lineman, I wish I had the use of a Guardian cap because I remember leaving practice with headaches when I was a player. Guardian caps are currently mandatory for all NFL teams during practice. And a recent study showed that since the NFL has implemented the mandatory use of Guardian caps, there's been a 50% of reductions in concussions compared to the 3 years prior. Most colleges and a growing number of high school teams across the nation are utilizing Guardian caps in practices. Notably, Brandon Valley High School Booster Club recently purchased Guardian caps for their entire high school football team. So how will it look when players one town over are given Guardian caps to use, but the Sioux Falls School District says we can't use them because it may invalidate a warranty? Even though, as I've shown you with the documents I presented today, it does not invalidate the warranty and has never invalidated a warranty anywhere in the United States. We are simply asking the school board to allow parents to better protect their kids in a violent sport. We're asking the school board to direct the athletic department to allow the use of Guardian caps at all levels of school football, both junior and high school. I feel so strongly about this issue that my wife and I would like to work with the school district to organize a fundraiser so we can purchase Guardian caps for all junior and high school teams. And with that, I just again thank you for your time, and I'll leave a little bit of time if you have any questions for me.
First and foremost, thank you for coming, both of you, and talking about Guardian caps. Somebody will get back to you.
Okay.
And we don't have all the information collected for tonight since this was a non-agenda item.
Yes.
But what I can give you is a commitment that the school district will be responsive and get back to you soon. And we just want to thank you again.
Thank you, Madam President.
Thank you. Okay. Chad Bishop?
Good evening. My name is Chad Bishop, and I live at 7405 South Valencia Drive here in Sioux Falls. I continue to respectfully request that George Orwell's 1984 and Animal Farm be required reading for all juniors and seniors in the district. I also renew my call to enhance the new social studies curriculum with lesson plans on the study of propaganda techniques and their use in our history. Today, I would like to address the school nutrition program and how some of the data is being reported. The Meal Viewer platform used by the district has supported both added sugars and UPC or GTIN labels since the 2023 and 2024 releases. Yet the district has not taken advantage of those features yet, at least from the data available today. So I would request that you take action to change that. Tomorrow, the menu lists a whole grain banana muffin, and MealViewer reports it as having 15 grams of total sugar. But when I observed the same item under the same label a few years ago, it contained 25 grams of added sugar. Those are different numbers. Perhaps it's changed for the better, and if so, that would be praiseworthy. Including a universal product code, UPC symbol, or a GTIN, global trade item number label would help clear up any confusion quickly, and it should be easy to do within the system. It would also allow further analysis of the entire ingredient list through the application programming interface which allows rapid analysis of the entire menu across the district, is a common capability that MealViewer already provides. Another example is today's Frosted Corn Flakes kit. So MealViewer shows it has 53 grams of carbohydrates. Let's mention that because I had to go try to find it. And yet Kellogg's Smart Label site lists the school-specific product as only 28 grams in total size for the whole product with much less sugar. Meanwhile, a retail version that does align with that 53 grams of carbohydrate contains 19 grams of added sugar just in that one serving. Add the 8 grams of added sugar from chocolate milk, and that breakfast alone totals 27 grams of added sugar, already exceeding the daily limit recommended by both the American Academy of Pediatrics and the American Heart Association. The UPC code would be helpful to know which specific product was being served. I would request that you do that for all prepackaged items. One more point, vending machines. I'd like to see the same sort of information provided for the vending machines we allow in the schools. An example, everybody thinks it's good to replace soft drinks with juice. So we'll use Minute Maid apple juice as an example. The serving provided in the vending machine is 32 grams of sugar. I'd argue that's the same as a Coke. Your pancreas and your liver don't know the difference. So I'd respectfully request that this information be disclosed periodically. You can't manage what you don't measure. That's why I would focus on this. Obviously, kids can go down the street and buy whatever they want or get it at home, but the meals provided by the district should not use up 100% of their recommended daily sugar intake in a single meal or use up their whole sugar budget for the day. Sugar can be called a chronic, dose-dependent hepatic toxin. Chronic, over time, dose-dependent, how much you take, but it's definitely a toxin. Your body has to clear a good portion of it, otherwise you get sick. Kids are now developing fatty liver disease before leaving middle school, a condition that used to be reserved for 60-year-old alcoholics. I think we all know something has changed in the last 40 years. I spoke about the last time I was here. The CDC states that 90% of the $4.9 trillion public-private healthcare spend in the US is spent on chronic disease and mental health. So imagine obesity, diabetes, heart disease, hypertension, neurocognitive dysfunction. It does turn out that the brain is a part of the body. Imagine what we could do with those resources if that was not the case. In closing, I spent over 11 calendar years and 17 commitment years volunteering within the district, partnering with both teachers and the administration. I'm also happy to contribute to these efforts if there's an opportunity to do so. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, Chip. Okay, can I get an approval of the agenda?
So moved.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. I would like to get a motion to approve the acknowledgement of a school administrator conflict of interest.
So moved.
Second? Second. All in favor? Aye. Opposed, same sign. That carries. Can I please get a motion to approve the consent agenda items A through E? So moved. Give me a second.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any questions?
Yes.
Gail?
I have a question for Ms. Dorman. Now, I know 2 weeks ago you gave us a great report on HR and hiring and where we stand with everything. In this personnel report, HR has been busy, and there's been a lot of movement. I'm wondering if you could give us a kind of an update on that, and where are we now with our hiring and our numbers?
You bet. Thank you. Yes, a lot has happened, a lot of ins and a lot of outs, I guess you could say, which is common this time of year. But I believe I reported a couple weeks ago that we had about 50 education support professional positions that we're looking to fill. We've got that number down to 30, so there's still plenty of opportunity. If anybody's looking for time with children, this is the place to be. So, thank you for asking.
Any other questions, comments? Okay, thank you, Gail. All right, I'm going to turn it over to Dr. Knoll for the reports of the superintendent.
Tonight, we do have two reports that we will be presenting on. The first one is with our CLC programming, and that one will be given by Ms. Wimmer, and that's an update on the summer programming information. A lot of good numbers in there as far as the increase of use that we are seeing in our summer programs and our CLC programs. So Ms. Wimmer will present that information.
I'm excited to stand in front of you again to give another update on community learning centers. So I was typing this report. I put in there, we finished our second full year, and I will tell you, it feels like a lot longer than just 2 years that we've been doing this. We had a year of pilot at 4 sites, and then 2 full years, but I am very excited about the data we have to share with you and the things that are happening inside our community learning centers. So first, starting off with our elementary, just looking at enrollment comparisons. So I've kind of put up there the enrollment comparisons over the last 3 years. So that first initial year, moving from our pilot to our full CLC program, you can see the drastic jump in our enrollment numbers. And then this past year, we did see a slight increase, not as dramatic, obviously, as that first full year into there, but we saw about 15 additional kids in our before school program. We only had one before school program. It was at Pettigrew Elementary, so 15 kids was actually about a 33% increase there. There were only 30 enrolled previously. This year, we have actually increased that to 8 different sites, and we have over 230 kids enrolled in the before school program. We had done some surveys out with parents, and they indicated that that was a need, and so that's going to be our biggest number to watch over the next year, is that before school program. And then we saw slight increases in our after school program. And then our summer program, we saw about an additional 130 children in our summer program. We opened up 2 additional sites this summer from past summer, and that allowed us to take in some additional kids. So continue to see that growth. Along with that growth, we also see the increased need for scholarships. So this past year, we had an increased request for about $130,000 more in scholarships to help support students. Some of that was due to loss in some of the federal funds that we had, and so we were able to work with our donors to get some additional dollars. We've done the same thing for this coming year. We've been able to get some additional dollars from our donors to support those scholarships. We want to make sure that every child has access to an after-school program if they want one, and so we continue to increase those numbers as well. What I'm probably most excited about when you talk about enrollment is our average daily attendance. So when you look at national research, we know that kids who attend more often and are there more hours have better outcomes. And so we pay attention to how many kids are there. And last year, you know, we saw kids in those months where it's a little bit warmer, so the fall and the spring, we would see a reduction in our number of average daily attendance because kids would convince their parents, you know, I want to go home, can I just walk home? This past year, we did not see the same thing. We saw our numbers stay pretty consistently high. That tells me that 1, our kids are engaged, they're enjoying what they're doing, and 2, our parents are finding the engagement or the value to what we're offering. Some of that is due to our enhancements we offer. We have over 70 community partners that are coming in and doing different activities with our kids throughout the weeks, getting them engaged in different things, and I think that makes a significant difference. And when we talk about our data on their progress in school, I think part of that is due to the increased number of days that they're attending and hours that they're in attendance in the after-school program. So then in moving on to that student improvement, like we've talked about before, we're very intentional since the beginning on collecting data on our kids. We know on a national level that after-school programs have an impact on school day attendance, school performance. What we are waiting for is this going to hold true for our kids here in Sioux Falls? And for the second year, we have seen consistent scores in improvement in math and reading scores, better attendance for our kids, and better behavioral events. Chronic absenteeism is one I'm really excited about, looking at how often are our kids coming into school and looking at it compared to the general elementary population. So these are elementary age students. You can see over the course of the last 3 years, there's been improvement of some of our general attendance, but when you break out those CLC kids separately, they've had a pretty drastic reduction in their chronic absenteeism. And so that's, again, encouraging kids to attend more often, getting them excited not only about the school day, but the after-school piece as well. We're also very intentional about connecting school day and after school, reinforcing those things that are happening during the school day. And so hopefully that is contributing to that decrease in that chronic absenteeism. The other thing we did is last year we just looked at growth of our kids overall. How well were the CLC kids doing? This year, we took a deeper look at, what does that look like compared to the general population, to know if that national data held true for our kids, our CLC kids performing at higher levels, seemingly, than the general population. And so what you're looking at up there is our median MAP scores in math for the spring of this past year. And it looks at each of the elementary schools, and in blue, that's the general performance of the elementary population. Green is, or the second line you're gonna see is the CLC kids. CLC kids in green, those are the schools that the CLC kids have a higher median MAP score than the general population. The ones in yellow that you see there are the schools that they have the same score as the general population. And in math, we had one school that CLC kids are performing under where the general population is. What this does for us is allows us to look at our kids as a whole and see, are there kids in certain schools where we need to do more programming in one area or another, and how we can better support those kids. It also gives us an idea of, are the things that we're doing in after school making an impact on those test scores year over year. And then the second one you'll see up there is reading. So you can see there is definitely opportunity for us, particularly in some of those schools, for us to increase their programming in reading to make sure that they are not performing below that general population. And so we'll work with those individual schools and the after-school programming. One that I'd like you to pay close attention to for this one and the other one is our Annie Sullivan CLC kids. They have had 2.5 years of small group tutoring through the 21st Century Community Learning Center program. And when you look at their performance in both math and reading, those CLC kids are way outperforming the general population. And I think that just speaks to what some of that small group does. And I will tell you, the 2 tutors that have been with me there for 2.5 years are 2 high school students. And so you would think, it has to be a certified teacher, and certainly our certified teachers in that tutoring space can do amazing work as well. But I think it's interesting to see those types of results with 2 high school students who are just doing math and reading activities with those kids and keeping their brains engaged, and we're seeing those results. So I'm really excited to see more of that. We've got Garfield and Laura B. Anderson that have jumped on that tutoring now, and so I'll be anxious to see in a year where their scores are. When you look at year-over-year comparison, one of the other things you'll see is that kids that are in the CLC, their scores are growing at a faster rate than the general population, with the exception of, for some reason, in 22-23, CLC kids rocked out the math scores. But other than that, you can see year over year the margin of growth compared to the general population that the CLC kids have had. And so the gap between the CLC kids and general population continues to grow year over year, meaning that we're getting that long-term impact that comes from kids being in the program repeatedly. Moving on to middle school. So this is our first year of middle school programming. And so we launched just last week, Thursday, after school programming in 3 middle schools. It's at George McGovern, Ben Rifle, and Whittier. So kids there can now stay until 6 o'clock in the evening. They've got activities planned. Each of those sites has a lead agency that is running that site, doing the programming, and then we have community partners as well as school district personnel that are doing activity groups after that and engaging the kids in interest type activities. Probably our biggest announcement or newsworthy thing in middle school was the opening of our first Boys and Girls Club attached to George McGovern Middle School. So that ribbon cutting was about a week and a half ago. Excellent turnout, and that new site is now opened up for those kids to be able to stay until 8 o'clock in the evening, full days on no school days. Just a really amazing opportunity for our students to engage in that. Our donors had the opportunity to come out and see that space, and a wonderful partnership with our donors, Boys and Girls Club, and the school district in making that happen. Again, we'll be very intentional about data, so as we go into the next year, I'll be able to bring data to you on our middle school students, their attendance, their test scores, that type of thing as well. High school, while we are engaged in some activities, largely that the need that our families and our principals told us and in the high school area was connected to college and career readiness, and Promising Futures is helping with that with the pilot project at Jefferson. And so while community learning centers will continue to support students and activities, we haven't launched anything fully in that high school because that is being taken care of with the partnership with Promising Futures. The other thing that high schools have asked us for is intramural sports, and so we are looking at what opportunities we may have with community partners to extend intramural sports and give opportunities for those students who may not make that basketball team or that football team, but still want to engage in some type of activity. And then the last one we'll talk about is family and community engagement. This year we did our first full year of family listening sessions. So about half of our schools received a listening session where we went out to the school, invited families to come and give us feedback on their school in general. We then provided that report to each of the principals with both some of the strengths and challenges families identified. And then from there, the principals at the schools could identify 1 or 2 things that they wanted to work on in the coming year. This year, we'll do the other half of the schools, and then we'll repeat that cycle. So that continuous improvement of listening to our families, finding out what's important, implementing things, and then going back and seeing how that implementation went and listening again is part of what community learning centers offer. And then we continue that community engagement. We could not do what we do without our community, and so continuing to invite others into the school, find different ways to engage community is really important to the success of our program. And with that, I will open it up for any questions.
First, what we're going to do is acknowledge your report, and then I'll open it up, if that's okay.
Sounds good, yes.
Okay. Can we please have a motion to acknowledge the CLC report?
So moved. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Oh, should have voted actually last after we asked questions, but that's okay. Go ahead, questions.
Just comment, Rebecca has always been known as, I think, what did we call her? The queen of partnerships. Yeah. And that's not just by us, that's everybody in the community. The work that you put into building bridges with so many makes all of this possible. So we're so thankful to have you within our district. Like, I'm choking up thinking about it, just thinking of all the opportunities that are coming through this, the big ideas that you have. Like, please continue to have these hairy, audacious ideas and run with them, you know. And I just so appreciate you, your team, everybody that supports all of this. My family has directly benefited from this, so I'm appreciative personally.
I know the After School Network had for every dollar invested in after-school programs, there is a return of $6.69. So that alone, you reference a lot of the data nationally, but you're getting incredible data just within our district for scores. So thank you. Appreciate this.
Thank you.
I have a couple more pragmatic type of questions, but what's your enrollment goal? You set out where it's at. Do you have a goal in mind?
So every year we kind of set an enrollment goal based off of what we feel like we can reach for capacity, looking at staffing. Obviously, we're licensed, and so it's a 50-1 ratio. And so we set our goal, I believe this year at 2,037 for after school. We are about 96% to our capacity. So there is some opportunity there. Where there is most opportunity is in our title schools. And so we are actively working with those principals to make sure that families know that it's available and that there's scholarship funding opportunities available. Just that continuous communication that we can take more kids, not at all of our title schools, but many of our title schools do have openings.
That's good information, and that also leads to the next question, fundraising goal. Was your goal 130 and you've met your goal?
Good question. So right now we are not doing a large amount of active fundraising because we were given a gift a couple years ago of a pretty large sum of money that would be able to sustain us for 5 to 7 years. And so that's what we're currently using for our scholarships. About twice a year, I go in and meet with what's called the Access for All Board. That's the board of donors who gave that gift initially. And I have to request a sum of money from them to carry us through. Last year, we used about $1.6 million in scholarship funds. This year, we asked for additional funds because some of those 21st century grants were dropping off and not going to be renewed. And so we asked for about $200,000 additional this year of that total. And so we'll be sitting at about 2.2 million roughly this year is what we're anticipating for scholarship funding that will come from that fund. And then we also get funds from United Way. So between the two of those, that's what makes up our scholarship funding pool. In the future, we absolutely will be going out and doing fundraising and seeking additional donations. But right now, while we have those resources, we're kind of saving our favors for a little bit later.
If there's a donor listening and they have interest, do they get a hold of you directly? Do they go through the community foundation? How can they best make a gift?
It's really up to their preference. If they have a relationship with the community foundation, they can certainly make that gift. It's called the Access for All Fund at the Sioux Falls Community Foundation, but you can also make gifts directly to the Sioux Falls School District or community learning centers if that's desired as well. Certainly not going to turn down any gifts if there are those who are interested. It is making a significant impact for our kids and for our families.
And then my last question, just for those listening, so that they're aware, but our morning program starts at 6:30 a.m.
It does.
Right.
6:30 to 8, and then they can go to breakfast there as well in the morning. Breakfast is usually served about 7:30 in the morning, and so the kids have about an hour of interaction time, and then they can go to breakfast, and then by 7:45, they're usually out on the playground. Some of our schools start a little earlier or later, but morning program always starts at 6:30 a.m.
And then the after-school program, the one that stays open the latest, is done at 8?
Yeah, McGovern is the only one that's open until 8 p.m. currently. Otherwise, all of the others close at 6 p.m.
Excellent. Good. Thanks.
Thank you.
Good stuff.
Yeah,
Thank you very much.
It is. It's incredible stuff, and we talk quite a bit, and we'll continue to highlight that, just the community partnerships that we have that step up and do things for our schools. And so many of the things we highlight are dollars that come from outside of the Sioux Falls School District general budget. And it's people in our community that truly support public education and support helping kids. And the big draws from that, when you look at it, the increased enrollment and the daily attendance that increased, the academics for those kids that increased, and the increased attendance in school. And so when we provide services for kids, it's truly dollars well spent and an investment into our community. The second report that we do have is on our professional development. So it's the things that we have provided for the employees of the Sioux Falls School District to help them grow professionally. And Ms. Clausen will give that report for us this evening.
Thank you. Thanks for inviting me back. As many of you know, professional development aligned with our school priorities has been a focus for the last several years, so I'm happy to report where we've been and where we're going this year. So training includes support for staff that is 3,600 different staff members across our school district, so that is a lot of humans, and it's a lot of different genres of people. I think when most people think of staff development, it's for our teaching staff, and it's actually so much more than only our teaching staff. So I'll start under instructional excellence and curriculum. For our elementary staff people, we had continued literacy focus for UFly. This isn't new, but it did expand into kindergarten and first grade in all schools, and then second grade in our pilot schools. We've done some learning along the Clarity for Learning topic in elementary and have some really good momentum going, and you'll hear about Clarity again coming up soon. New social studies implementation, so they had some learning on how to utilize the new materials for, and then PLC plus framework as well, some good momentum going there. In middle school, the CTE teachers collaborated in grades 6, 8 specifically on vertically aligning towards the high school career pathways. So that career pathways has been a focus, and now we're making sure some of that aligns between middle school and high school. Science of reading training for our reading development teachers, and you'll see literacy sprinkled in throughout so many of our groups again this year. Kicking off our math study, social studies study still going. And then I'd like to highlight a partnership with Junior Achievement. We've had that going on for a long time, but new this year, they did some specific training with our 7th grade teachers on the JA BizTown pilot that will be rolling out this year. So that's exciting. In high school in August, they got some training on AI, which is a big focus everywhere. These teachers and staff got training on how to use AI as a tool themselves, as well as how to teach their students how to use AI as a tool and not just a shortcut. And then again, curriculum is always in a cycle. For our K-12 groups, again, you'll see quite a lot of partnerships with our community organizations. Our fine arts collaborated with the South Dakota Art Museum and did some training with their teachers on visual thinking strategies. Our PE teachers got some training with the Gopher Sporting Goods and new activities that they can do in PE class. And then special services did some engaged and on-task training to equip staff with tools to help students develop targeted language skills. In the area of well-being and behavior supports, our behavior support staff did some safety care training. We're in the 2nd year of safety care, so it was a refresher for some and new for others. And then AIM training as well for our behavior support staff. And then student support services collaborated with many community partners, Avera, LSS, Public Health, to get some updates of what's happening in the community, so we all have good collaboration there. Our leaders weren't left off the list of some staff development that they got. All of our administrators and instructional coaches attended Clarity for Learning. You heard that in the elementary world. We've got great momentum, so now we're all have the same information on success criteria, learning intentions. Our new administrators and interns went through crucial conversations, SPED 101, and then our middle school leaders got some training, a little refresher on what the middle school model looks like and what successful middle schools do. in the area of staff experience and excellence, we had a great kickoff day with our clerical training. We tapped into the hospitality training provided online from the South Dakota Department of Tourism. So we highlighted some of their modules and then have worked with the school leaders to give our clericals some time to do those modules as well. And then health services, things always need to be refreshed and updated there. So they did that. All right, looking ahead throughout the rest of this school year, we will continue on our literacy support journey. Our middle school was not left out of the AI training. They will get that coming up in October. And then continued curriculum refinement across all levels. And then additionally, we'll be adding, to get some feedback from our staff, from all staff, not just teaching staff, a little feedback form, a request form on the website about what training they need and how they'd like to receive that training. All right, I'm ready to acknowledge the report and questions.
Well, first we're going to get the motion on the table and then discussion. Do I have a motion to acknowledge the report? Some questions, comments? Gail?
This is great. I just love all of the different ways you customize the training and professional development to all of the staff. It's not just a one-size-fits-all, just like we try to teach our students, that it's not just a one-size-fits-all. We recognize that with our staff too, so thank you, good job.
Well, and you're part of the Grow Our Own, taking anybody that would like to further their skill set to become a teacher, moving that forward, because there's been some real success, and I know it's taken a few years to get that going and running, but it's headed in the direction you all wanted it to go.
Exactly.
So that's encouraging. Dr.
And we will have a U-Fly, the reading program for the elementary, a report on that September 8th to dig into the details of that. We're seeing some great results in that. So Linda McDaniel is excited to be able to give that report and looking forward to it.
Great. Okay. All right, all in favor? Aye. Opposed? Same sign? All right. Acknowledge your report. Thank you. Is that it? Okay, Gail,
You ready for closing?
what are you going to talk about, our t-shirts? Because I wanted Deanna.
I was going to.
Good job. Here we go.
Well, first I'm going to say that it's been so fun to go around and peek in on some of the preschool, activities and the all-staff gatherings and that, and to feel the excitement of everybody. But it's been even better to walk around town and to go different places in the grocery store or whatever and have people stop you and say, wow, that was really fun, or this is a great start of the year. Isn't this going well? And so that's been really fun. So I want to thank everybody, and we're all modeling your t-shirts. Mm-hmm. We want to thank you because Be the Difference is the theme, and so many people are the difference for so many kids. So thank you to all of you as staff for everything you do for our kids.
Thank you, Gail. That sentiment is shared. Do I have anything else? Okay, do I have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Adjourned.